Alright, so this video is on tips on a lubrication system. Now this particular engine has what's called the rocker shaft lubrication. And the way this works, I'll try to show this as best as I can here. Get that over here. It's frustrating. Okay. So, obviously you've got your oil pump pickup. This is your oil pan here. And this is your pickup. And it comes up and the first thing that it feeds is your camshaft. Now, your oil pump is the heart of the system, and your camshaft is your brain of your system. And the reason I say that it's the brain is that as pressure comes up, there is a pressure regulator inside the oil pump, but it's more of a pressure, an overpressure valve. So if your filter gets plugged up and it doesn't bypass any longer, then the oil pump itself will bypass. But in this situation, your oil pump pressure, it comes up to the camshaft, and the camshaft actually regulates the pressure that the engine conducts. So let's say the pump is probably able to put out 100 psi, and your camshaft will regulate it to, let's say, 40 or even 50. And as it comes up to the camshaft, then the camshaft basically is, let's call it a restriction in some way. And then after that, it will feed the cylinder head. This is basically the cylinder head. If you draw an imaginary line around this whole unit here, that's a cylinder head. And so the way this works is similar to this system here. In this middle pedestal right here, there's another cross-drilled hole that goes through the cylinder head down into the engine block. And as you crank the engine over, oil comes up from the camshaft down in here, and it runs up through this center post here, and then it distributes it from left to right. And then you'll see there's some tiny ports there that allow the oil to actually come out of the rocker shaft. And what that does is it runs across there. It comes from this hole right here, and it runs across here, and it'll help to lubricate the valves. And it also helps to lubricate the inside right in between here, because this whole cast iron piece moves up and down. It just toggles this way, up and down, and that's what moves the valve in its timing. But what I found on this particular engine is the oil that comes out of this center support right here actually just dribbles out. It doesn't seem like it's nearly enough to actually lubricate everything. It eventually gets to all the pieces, but I think I'm going to have a little better idea of what's going on. I'm going to put a new oil pump in it. Now this truck only has 60,000 miles, or around 60 to 70,000. And what I believe is happening is it's got a little bit of a weak oil pump, which was a soft spot in these particular engines. So like I say, that's the way these oil systems. Now don't pay attention to this floating oil intake and screen. That's only on specialized applications. But the rest of it is pretty much the same. It's got the oil pump, and it's got a drive shaft, which is down inside this hole right down in here. There's a drive shaft in there that attaches to the bottom of the distributor. And it spins, of course, spins that pump. Now, pump itself, if you were to suck up a piece of trash from the sump here and it gets lodged in here in this screen, then you're okay. But if it makes its way past that screen and it gets inside the pump itself, there's such tight tolerances inside that pump that it could actually seize the pump up and cause this shaft here to actually twist. And it'll be like a drive shaft on a car. It'll twist and it'll shrink. It'll break the shaft, of course, but then it'll cause it to become distorted and stop building pressure. So you've got to always watch that. But there is just another quick little thing about engine lubrication systems. And thumbs up to you. Thank you for watching.